You're watching OnFire-TV.com, featuring news, interviews, and entertainment. Broadcasting from Radio On Fire Studios in Baltimore, Maryland, here's your host, Diamond K.
Welcome back. You man, Diamond K in here, of course. The Diamond K Show on Fire-TV.com, on Fire-TV.com. So we've been talking about it. A lot of the shows here have been discussing it, and the jury deliberations began today. And Tory Lanez, who is facing charges for allegedly shooting and injuring hip-hop star Megan Thee Stallion back in 2020. Must have been a drunken night. Megan Thee Stallion, real name is Megan Pete, accused Tory Lanez of shooting her on the witness stand. She did this. Rapper who did not testify has pleaded not guilty. And I said it at the time. I thought it was just so sad that a woman is claiming to have been assaulted, claiming to have been shot. A lot of people making fun of her. A lot of people taking it for a joke. You know, it's a sad situation. Now, we're going to find out what the jury says. The Grammy-winning artist testified that on the night of July the 12th, 2020, she got out of a car following an argument with Lanez, and as she walked away, she turned her head and saw him with a gun, according to reports. She said that he was holding the gun pointing at me. She claimed that he said, "Dance, B," and fired his gun, injuring both her feet. She said that she froze. She said that she felt shocked. I wasn't really sure if this was happening. I looked at the ground. I saw blood. Everyone was shocked, she said. Now, her attorney, said that the main reason, the main message was that she was the victim of a shooting, and that's what this case was about, and that was the truth. End of story. So while on stand, she alleged that Tory Lanez apologized to her after the alleged shooting and offered her money to stay silent. Said, "I'll give you $1 million," she recounted, about a conversation that took place the night of the incident as police arrived on the scene. So people have pointed to different statements and different things that she's said about it, and she's given different reasons for that. Tory Lanez pleads not guilty. He did not take the witness stand, and his attorneys argued that their client was not the shooter. This is a very unfortunate case, the defense attorney said during the closing arguments yesterday. Someone got shot. Megan Pete got shot. My client is not the shooter. My client is being falsely accused. That's what he said. So initially, he was charged October 2020 with one felony count each of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, a personal use of a firearm, and carrying a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle, according to charging documents. Personal use of a firearm is not a separate charge, but a sentencing enhancement linked to the first count that could increase Tory Lanez's possible sentence. So we're going to find out what the jury says. Lanez was charged earlier this month with an additional felony count of discharging a firearm with gross negligence. He has pleaded not guilty to all of the 3 felonies in this case. So his defense suggested that someone else had the gun. Could have been Tory Lanez. He was busy writing rhymes. Wasn't him. Was not him. Now, the police criminalist testified on Monday about the DNA evidence in the case, saying that the DNA of 4 males was found on the firearm magazine, while Tory Lanez's DNA was not found. Now, that does not mean that he did not touch the weapon. He also testified that the test for the presence of Tory Lanez's DNA profile on the gun was inconclusive, which means neither present or not present. If he is convicted, he faces up to 22 years and 8 months in prison. Closing arguments resumed today. The doctor described Megan's injuries. Now, according to prosecutors, Tory Lanez personally inflicted great bodily injury upon Megan Thee Stallion after the two got into an argument while riding in an SUV in the Hollywood Hills, resulting in injuries to both of her feet, for which she received medical treatment at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. So, said that he assisted in operating on her feet after she was shot on July the 12th, where she received stitches and stayed in the hospital overnight. They had x-rays identifying bullet fragments on the back of the heels of both of her feet. She said she could not walk for a while. She said she had nerve damage. She said that she still has nerve damage when describing those injuries. Nerve damage. He said that he didn't identify nerve damage, but added that some small bullet fragments still remain in her feet because removing pieces so small could cause more damage. So he added that metal objects that remain could be painful. Now, a neighbor who witnessed the shooting from his home spoke out. According to police, there were 4 individuals present when the incident took place: Pete, another woman, Kelsey Harris, along with Tory Lanez and his bodyguard, who was the driver that night. Sean Kelly, who witnessed the alleged shooting from his home, testified that an individual he identified as Tory Lanez fired shots, but he also said that he thought one of the women fired shots because he saw flashes near Harris and Pete. He said that he didn't see a gun, but he saw Pete and Harris arguing, and that the argument escalated and got quite violent. Key witnesses changed their stories. That was something that we had to deal with. Key witnesses failed to testify. That was something that we have seen. Case very, very strange. 2 key witnesses who were asked to testify did not appear in court, and questions about their whereabouts were raised during the trial. I don't understand why this case has been, why it dragged on for so long. Can we start there? Why is it taking so long to come to a conclusion in something like this? Something that should be so easy to prove. Something that should be so open and shut. Not sure. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok at The Diamond K Show. Of course, onfire-tv.com. I've talked about this case a lot. I have talked about this case a lot. It was a drunk night. I don't think that he meant, or anyone meant, to kill her. But she clearly was shot. She clearly was shot. And why the hip hop community thinks that is so funny, why folks have been calling Meg a snitch. Why? This has been a crazy situation, but we're going to find out the outcome of this very soon, and we're going to talk about it soon as it is released. Welcome back. You man, Diamond K in here, of course, the Diamond K Show on fire-tv.com, on fire-tv.com. So last night, there was a surprise visit, and, I stayed up late to watch the speech. And Zelenskyy from Ukraine, I mean, the idea of a daring wartime trip, very, very, very brave of him, middle of a war. So he came through, and it was late. It was after midnight here on the East Coast, but they claim that this has been in the works for quite some time. Zelenskyy indicated to President Biden and other senior officials that the United States was the first country he wanted to visit when the time was right for him to travel. So here he is. He shows up. He came. He spoke before Congress, trying to, I guess, plant the seed that they need more money. They're constantly going to need more money, more weapons. But they talked about the bravery of the Ukrainian people. Behind the scenes, the details of this surprise visit to D.C. were described by an aide to Pelosi. Did he kiss her at one point? He was happy. He was happy. And so he quoted, he did a lot of things that folks do in American politics. Quoted FDR, talked about the Battle of the Bulge, happened during World War II. The Ukrainian president crossed into Poland early Wednesday. Next thing you know, he was here in America. They exchanged flags. He gave a battle flag, and American government gave him a flag that had flown over the Capitol earlier that day. That was kind of cool. You remember Pelosi traveled the world in recent months. She has been a big supporter of Ukraine and everything going on there. So Pelosi, just days away from handing over her gavel. Republicans are going to control Congress in a few days. She finally had a chance to welcome Zelenskyy to the Capitol. She called this a profound privilege. Great pride coming at a moment when Capitol Hill is about to greenlight an additional $45 billion of emergency aid to Ukraine. Now, here in America, I understand that Ukrainians are brave. I understand that this is a serious situation. But Americans, they hear $45 billion going to another country, and we can't help but look around here and say, wait, you couldn't find some money for some stuff around here also? You couldn't cut that amount down a little bit and give America some of that money? You can't help but think that. And people that don't understand that, you're not looking at this clearly. You can't help but think that. But I understand it's a serious situation. I understand that, this is a fight trying to put Putin in his place. But $45 billion additional money because they've already gotten other money. We got battles that we need to fight here. Yeah, the border's a mess. The country's a mess. The roads are a mess. But, Ukraine, of course, needs that money. Ukraine needs that money, so they get the money. Welcome back. You man, Diamond K in here, of course. The Diamond K Show on fire-tv.com, on fire-tv.com. Donald Trump. Taxes. We finally got some of the taxes. The amount of income, deductions, and taxes paid by or refunded to former President Trump while serving in the White House was detailed in a new report that was released earlier this week. The report revealed that Trump, on his federal tax returns, declared negative income 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2020. Negative income. And that he paid a total of $1,500 in income taxes for years 2016 and 2017 when he was president. Okay. Now, Republicans are saying, I see people online saying he's smart. No, actually, he's not. He's a bad businessman. Bad business person. But we already knew that. On their 2020 income taxes, Trump and Melania paid 0 federal income taxes and claimed a refund of $5.47 million, according to a report by the staff of the Joint Committee on Taxation. Report has been posted online by the Ways and Means Committee. They voted to make public redacted versions of his full income tax returns. And those 8 related business entities for tax years 2015 through 2020, those full returns are expected to be released in the coming days. So we got to see some things that we already knew. Very surprising, not so surprising. I don't know. It is unfortunate. It is unfortunate. I mean, the lie. He's been telling the tax lie for so long. He lies so much that folks will just say, he's smart for lying. Smart for lying. Y'all voted for him.
It's the Diamond K Show.
So much going on in the world. You talk about things from the perspective of how it is. DJ Diamond K, sometimes it comes off like you are almost not in support of, but you just accept the way things are and there's no chance of change. Check me out on YouTube. That's the part that I am just like, on fire.